Hello everyone, welcome back again to Etihad Breaking. No delay, let's get started. The roar of Wembley had barely died down when the news began to spread like wildfire. The great Pep Guardiola, the mastermind behind Manchester City's transformation into a European juggernaut, was reportedly on the brink of being sacked. Not resigned, not retired, sacked. After an embarrassing 3-0 defeat in the FA Cup final at the hands of their bitter rivals Manchester United, the mood inside the City boardroom had shifted from admiration to accusation. For years, Guardiola had walked on water at the Etihad. His relentless pursuit of perfection, his mind-bending tactics, and his trophy-laden seasons had elevated City to unprecedented heights. 4 Premier League titles in a row, a historic treble, the long-coveted UEFA Champions League. Yet, on this rain-soaked afternoon in London, those glories seemed like distant memories. The final that changed everything City came into the FA Cup final as overwhelming favourites. United had stumbled through the season, barely clinching a Europa League spot. Erik ten Hag's job was hanging by a thread. In contrast, City had just secured the Premier League title after a tight race with Arsenal. Many expected Pep's men to put on a show, another example of their dominance in English football. But what unfolded was a disaster. City looked sluggish, disjointed, and disturbingly uninspired. Bruno Fernandes pulled the strings in midfield with ease. Alejandro Garnacho tore through Kyle Walker as if he were a youth player. Rasmus Højlund bullied Ruben Dias off the ball like a seasoned striker. By halftime, it was 2-0. By the 70th minute, it was 3-0. And it could have been worse. In the stands, Sheikh Mansour, rarely seen at games, watched silently with Khaldoon Al-Mubarak beside him. Both men sat expressionless, their eyes scanning the field like generals witnessing the fall of a once invincible army. The rumblings begin. As the final whistle blew, the knives came out. Sources close to the club revealed that Khaldoon was livid, not just about the result, but the manner of it. No fight, no identity, no soul. Guardiola was seen arguing with his coaching staff post-match and refused to attend the post-game banquet at the team hotel. Rumors immediately swirled that tensions had been boiling for months. According to insiders, Pep had been clashing with the board over transfer strategy. He wanted a complete overhaul. He pushed for big names like Jamal Musiala and Dani Olmo. The board, after the recent £1.2 billion investment into the squad over the last 5 years, were reluctant. They expected more from the existing squad. Pep didn't agree. He feels the hunger is gone in the dressing room, one source said. He's always demanded maximum intensity, but some players are just coasting, and he blames the board for not refreshing the squad enough. Player power and dressing room divides. It wasn't just the boardroom at odds with Pep. The dressing room had fractured too. Kevin De Bruyne, now 34, had reportedly fallen out with Guardiola over reduced playing time and the signing of Florian Wirtz, a German sensation who had taken over De Bruyne's creative duties in midfield. Jack Grealish, benched for most of the season, was unhappy with Guardiola's public criticisms. Even Erling Haaland, the golden boy, was rumored to be frustrated with Pep's obsession with tactical micromanagement. Pep treats every game like a Champions League final, said an anonymous squad member. That used to motivate us. Now it just burns us out. Sources claim that after the Wembley defeat, the atmosphere in the locker room was icy. Guardiola didn't speak. He didn't shout. He just walked out. The boardroom emergency. On Monday morning, an emergency meeting was held at the Etihad's headquarters. Present, Khaldoon Al-Mubarak, Ferran Soriano, Chiki Begiristain, and Sheikh Mansour via video call. The topic: Pep's future. The discussions were intense, while Soriano and Begiristain backed Pep, arguing that one bad final shouldn't erase years of brilliance. Others weren't so sure. Khaldoon reportedly said, "Are we building a club or worshipping a man?" Mansour was said to be disappointed, not just by the FA Cup loss, but by the recent Champions League quarter-final exit to Bayern Munich, and the lack of young academy players being integrated into the squad. The club's global brand was thriving, but its footballing identity was becoming robotic and stale. A final vote was taken, 3 in favor of parting ways with Pep, 2 against. Pep's future in his own hands? Despite the internal vote, the decision wasn't yet final. Guardiola was still under contract until 2026, but a clause in his deal allowed either party to terminate early with a mutual agreement. Pep reportedly requested 72 hours to consider his future. In those 3 days, the football world went into a frenzy. Pundits debated the implications. If Pep leaves City now, it ends an era not just for them, but for English football, Gary Neville said on Sky Sports. But maybe it's time. You can only keep climbing the mountain so many times before the legs give way. Social media exploded. City fans were split. Some believed Pep had earned the right to stay as long as he wished. Others accused him of overcomplicating tactics and failing to evolve. Across Europe, clubs began circling like vultures. Bayern Munich made discreet inquiries. Paris Saint-Germain were said to be preparing an astronomical offer. Even Barcelona's presidential candidates began floating Pep's name as a potential comeback king. The final blow on Thursday afternoon, Pep met with Khaldoon privately at his Manchester residence. The conversation, as reported by a source close to the club, was emotional. Pep admitted he was tired. "I've taken this team as far as I can," he reportedly said. "They need a new voice. Maybe I do too." By evening, Manchester City released a bombshell statement. The football world stood still. The legacy and the road ahead Guardiola leaves City with an extraordinary legacy. 5 Premier League titles, 2 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, and 1 Champions League. He turned City into a dynasty, a machine of tactical brilliance and dominance. But even empires must fall. City now face a crucial summer. The board is actively considering successors. Names in contention include Roberto De Zerbi, admired for his expansive football; Julian Nagelsmann, the young tactician with a point to prove; Michel from Girona, part of the City Football Group's long-term plan. Whoever steps into the dugout will inherit a squad at a crossroads. Aging stars, unbalanced youth integration, and a hungry fan base expecting continuity in excellence. As for Pep, he'll take a sabbatical, his camp confirms. Reflect, rebuild, reinvent. But make no mistake, he will return. Whether it's with a national team at the 2026 World Cup or a new club hungry for greatness, Guardiola's story is far from over. Yet for City, the Guardiola chapter has closed. Not with the triumphant roar of trophies lifted under London skies, but with silence, pain, and the haunting memory of an empire brought to its knees at the hands of their oldest enemies, the end.